How we doing, everybody? It's Coach Alex from Maximize Potential coming at y'all with another great Wellness Wednesday. Today we're talking about muscular asymmetries and imbalances. I'll be talking about what they are, what most commonly causes them, and how to treat them. But before we get into that, our cold weather gear is finally here. We've got sweaters, we've got sweatpants, we've got beanies, and we've got a good assortment of hoodies. We've still got a handful of deals right now, so go ahead and grab some stuff while the deals are still on. I'm gonna go ahead and leave a link down in the comments below. Today we're talking about how to address asymmetries. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright, so like I said, today we're addressing asymmetries, what they are, how they happen, and different ways to treat them. Well, to start, a muscle asymmetry is when a muscle or muscles on one side of the body is larger, smaller, stronger, or weaker than the corresponding muscle on the other side. This can cause issues with properly activating certain muscles or even overcompensation of others. But how does this happen and how can we avoid it? Well, one of the most common ways that this can happen is going to be an overuse of a dominant side. So for example, in our day-to-day lives, if we're going to be carrying groceries or luggage, a lot of the time we carry it on that dominant side. I know for myself, I'm right-hand dominant, so anytime I carry the groceries or carry something heavy, I'm usually carrying it on that right side. Now, because I've been doing that for a majority of my life, the left side of my obliques are much stronger and more conditioned than the right side of my obliques, as these are going to be the main muscles that are going to be used to stabilize the trunk and the low back. Now, when it comes to athletes, those who play baseball or golf are most commonly affected because of the repetitive motion that's going to be involved in a swing. This is why we at MP and other sports performance professionals push for athletes to switch stances at least during practice. Now, we understand during performance you're not usually going to be using your non-dominant side, so keeping this in practice is going to be a-okay. Another thing that can cause muscular imbalance is going to be past injuries. A lot of the time, if an injury affects the musculature or tissues around a given area, this will cause different ranges of motion on each side. This obviously is going to impact strength training since each side has to work together in many exercises. This will involve most things that use a barbell, so things like a deadlift, things like rows, or overhead presses. Another thing that goes into this, like I said, is going to be an issue with proper activation of specific muscles. If we are using our dominant side over and over and over again, we're going to have overcompensation of one specific muscle. When we have overcompensation of one specific muscle, we usually have an underactivation of the opposite side. So for example, if you stand for a majority of your day and you find it to be more comfortable to lean onto one side, usually that side that we are leaning on will have a stronger glute because it needs to be a little bit stronger, a little bit more conditioned to maintain and hold that body weight on top of the hip. So meaning if I'm leaning over to this right side and I favor this right leg, my right glute is going to be stronger and more conditioned than my left glute. Now this is usually going to affect us during a squat because if one glute is stronger or more conditioned than the other, then we may shift off towards the side of the stronger one. Now, if we are stronger in one muscle and we are overcompensating in there, more than likely we're pretty tight around that muscle. And when those larger, stronger muscles end up becoming too tight, they end up pulling on bones and structures that end up pulling our joints out of the range of motion that's preferable for a lot of exercises. I've had a handful of people ask me if they should go and get a chiropractic adjustment. Now, I love the use of a chiropractor and I love being in spinal alignment, but what we need to remember is that this is a treatment of the spine, not of the soft tissue surrounding it. Unfortunately, if we don't treat the soft tissue, it's very easy for those muscles and for those vertebrae to go and relapse right back into the injury that we had before. Again, a chiropractor could place the vertebrae how we want them, but if the muscle imbalance persists, then it'll end up just pulling the body back in the direction that it's used to being in. So if we do have interest in seeking out chiropractic help, do make sure that we are using myofascial release in conjunction with it. Now, if we're not necessarily looking for chiropractic intervention, then we can go ahead and try and fix it ourselves. Now, the treatment here, one of the main rules is I don't ever want us to outright stop using or stop strengthening that stronger side. Instead, what I want us to do is to start treating asymmetries by assessing the weaker link first. Once we get a good accurate assessment of the weaker link or the weaker muscle, I want you to only work up to the capacity of that deconditioned muscle and gradually work your way up until both sides are equal. Now, I understand that sometimes this can be frustrating because while one side can be burning and can be tired, the other side may feel like we're not really getting too much work in. But with things like this, we have to be patient. So exercises like single arm, single leg, or unilateral core exercises are going to be best for us. I would also highly recommend swapping out barbell exercises for dumbbell exercises. Dumbbells are preferred as they can also work on maintaining stability and eliminate the chance of compensation from one side to the other like we do with a barbell. But anyway, guys, that's about all I got for us today. I hope we learned something new. Like I said earlier, we've still got deals going on with that cold weather gear. So go ahead, hit the link down in the comments below while the deals are still on. Remember, y'all, this is always a conversation, so don't forget to leave a like, comment down below with anything that you learned, any questions that you may have, or suggestions for future content that you want to see. But other than that, I'm Coach Alex. Y'all be good, drink some water, and I'll see y'all in the next one.